Good day to you, my lords and ladies. I'm Lord Commander Pyrpk, and today I will be showing you my current assassin build for seasonal Wormwalks and seasonal Beyond the Wall expeditions. We are currently at mid-season, but many people actually requested to see my build and how I am doing those Wormwalks and Beyond the Walls, so I'm really glad to share this build with you guys, of course. But honestly, we are still mid-season and there's a lot to change, so I will also be making a final build for assassin and for sword and probably for a knight, so you guys can follow that and get something from it. So let's go straight into it and let me show you my build for assassin. I will firstly start over here from season 3, light and shadow, with of course seasonal trait trees. Now currently this is my trait tree build, as you can see over here, and I'm simply putting everything into attack, of course, and you can see that as well. Basically over here this one node is pretty good since it increases resistance gauge damage, but I think that this one is much better. It inflicts the armor destruction effect when you land active skills, and it deals heavy damage to enemies' DAZE resistance gauge. Now stay with me, I want to clear something up, because DAZE damage and resistance gauge damage are two different things. So I'm currently gonna start one Wormwalk stage so I can simply explain it to you guys. What is DAZE and what is resistance gauge? Okay, so I waited for the game to optimize. Now as you can see, this white bar over here under enemy's health is resistance gauge, of course. Now once I put the gauge down, enemy is dazed, and that's when I can actually deal real damage to enemy. This seasonal Wormwalks is basically like that we cannot deal real damage unless we destroy the resistance gauge. As you can see, I cannot deal real damage unless I take his resistance gauge down. And now I can basically deal real damage as I want, since the enemy is dazed. You will simply have to break the resistance gauge first time and that's it. After that, if enemy survives your dazed attack, basically you will keep giving him normal attacks after that, and that's pretty cool. As you can see, I am pretty easily taking those resistance gauges down, even with combo strikes, especially with turn kick. So yeah, let's dive into it and let me show you my build. So over here, starting from this trait tree, basically we understood what is DAZE damage and what is resistance gauge. Now of course you can copy my build if you want, as long as you have the same number of points. Currently I am having 33, but what I'm gonna do with my next points that I get is basically I will be unlocking this one first, since it increases DAZE damage and resistance gauge damage. Then I will be unlocking this one as well. Then this one is also pretty good, since it decreases rage consumption, so you can spam turn kick. And over here this one is also pretty good. It additionally increases distraction gauge. I will also be showing you what is distraction gauge. Over here is the timestamp if you want to quickly jump into that part to see what is distraction gauge. But now let's continue with this video. Of course I'm gonna activate this one as well once I hit 35 points, because this one is also really good, and after that probably I'm gonna activate this and this one, but definitely you will see my final build in the end. Now the next thing that I want to show you guys is basically over here in skills, and as you can see I am using turning kick, poison and ignite weapon. Assassin is not my main, but I'm trying to convert to assassin since knight is a little bit nerfed, and as you can see I'm using turning kick enhanced. I'm not having like full points on it, but however turning kick is, it says DAZE damage medium, but honestly with enhanced turn kick it's very good DAZE damage giver and also resistance gauge breaker. So turning kick is pretty good. Why am I not using over here points into distraction? Well, I will explain that as well in like 1 minute, because you can literally inflict corrode with basic skills, and I will show you that, guys. And it's also pretty good. Yeah, I'm also using poison because it helps turning kick, of course, And I think that poison is somehow good for days, honestly, in my opinion. Over here you can also stack some points into corrode armor if you want, but I'm not bothering with this to change my assassin build that much, honestly, even though I could do that to increase DAZE damage as well when using poison, so this is not bad, honestly, and I would also recommend this. But I'm using ignite weapon since over here it says resistance gauge damage 100% of base damage. I think that with ignite weapon instead of ambush we are gonna break the resistance gauge much faster with assassin, and I'm also using this forge in fire. I was lucky to get +2 like on some rare boots, which is awesome, and I increased my critical strike damage when using ignite. So ignite is also pretty good for resistance gauge, so I'm using simply ignite, poison and turn kick with assassin, and you've seen that it's going pretty well. Now let's go with basic skills over here, and I'm using strike combo 2. Of course I'm not level 50 because assassin is not my main, but I definitely prefer assassin over knight this season. So strike combo 2, and I'm simply following the right path over here. First one increases DAZE damage 15% for 15% against poison targets, and I'm using poison. Then over here it also increases DAZE damage by 25%, and over here it inflicts corrode. And this is what I was talking about. Corrode is slowly but surely taking enemies resistance gauge out. And hello Isma. And basically over here you don't have to go for distraction to inflict corrode because you will be getting it with this one. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my active and basic build. Now let's go to my trade tree. I don't want to show you my trade tree, of course, and as you can see it looks like this. So this is hard to copy, of course, because let me quickly explain, like 30 seconds. I do have this artifact new, Tear of Nissa Nissa, which we will be talking about, and it heavily increases critical strike rate, of course, which means that my crit rate is like 60% capped, and I have like literally overflow of crit strike rate, which means that I didn't put any point into crit strike rate increase, honestly, which literally left me with a lot of points to spend. So I of course put 5 points over here into rage gain. I put every point into crit strike damage, of course, and then I unlocked this parry, because when you parry the enemy and like do parry linked attack, you will also deplete his resistance gauge a lot, which is really good resistance gauge damage dealer. And then over here, of course, I also put a lot of points into rage gain increase and then also into max rage. I literally want to spam turn kick this season and those Wormwalks, and to simply daze the enemies all the time, like all the time, simply to jump and spin with assassin. So yeah, that's why I'm simply putting everything into rage gain and trying to make the cooldown as low as possible, of course. So it's hard to copy, but definitely if you have that artifact, don't put any points into crit strike rate, but put into like rage gain, and if you manage like to come even down here, like to reduce the cooldown of rage consuming skills, which is really good. Now let's go to set research, and as you can see I'm using Crusher because Crusher is crushing this season. And over here you can see that it inflicts pretty good DAZE damage, but it also reduces the cooldown of active skills. I mean, when you daze the enemy, it reduces the cooldown by 8%, which is awesome. And also over here you can see that it increases damage by 27.5%, which is amazing against dazed enemies. And also you will be getting some HP back, which is really good. So definitely go with Crusher with this season. And as for artifacts, let's go to artifacts. Over here you can see that I'm using this new Tear of Nissa Nissa. And what's really important over here is that, like, you don't have to go for R7, R6, R5 Nissa Nissa. Literally having it refined on level 4 is more than enough, honestly. Well, you can maybe go for R5 to increase some active artifact skill, of course, because it's really good. But Tear of Nissa Nissa is pretty good because it gives decent amount of damage against enemies resistance gauge and plus against dazed enemies. And on top of that, it increases your critical strike rate, that it's like literally unbelievable. And this artifact is amazing, and I definitely recommend everyone to use this artifact since it's literally made for this season. And as for passive, I'm using Broken Sword simply so I can spam turn kick, even though Rabbi is, in my opinion, better, yeah, if you somehow manage to like reduce the cooldown of turning kick without using the Broken Sword, then definitely go with Rabbi. Let's go to my equipment, and as you can see over here, I'm using this amulet that increases my active skill damage as first, then a second damage against these targets, and then as third increases attack speed, which is also amazing. So this is my amulet that I'm going with for this season. And also, yeah, I mean, everything is pretty much the same, simply the build that increases like other stats, your power and this and that, even though I do have one DAZE ring over here, but it increases DAZE damage only for 4%, which is not that much. What I forgot to tell you guys, over here in the trade tree, basically in attacking trade tree, you can switch to this node if you want some like 20% DAZE damage. I'm personally not using it because I'm using this one to decrease rage consumption and to increase the damage of my turn kick. You can try like all three of them if you want, but I'm going simply with this middle one, even though this one is giving some good DAZE damage. And since I literally have like 60% crit strike rate, it's literally capped, I can't go for more. I am using this God's Heaven from the north because it increases, as you can see, attack power, but also decreases rage consumption, which is amazing. So I'm going with this one. Done. And as for potions, I of course always recommend the purple one. Unfortunately, we don't have that cake anymore, but cake was awesome. So I'm simply going like with this one, since it decreases active skill cooldown, as you can see, the blue herb tea of focus, which is amazing. But of course, if you lack like crit strike rate or attack power, simply go with this potion, or if you like crit strike rate and active skill casting speed, go with this one. You will know what you lack and simply go with that potion, because we do have many potions in this game that can increase like some type of something for you. And yeah, I'm simply going with this one to decrease my active skill cooldown, to simply spam turning kick, even though like purple one is the best. So if you can craft a lot of purple ones, definitely go with it. Now let me show you guys how is it working for me. Let me go to the last stage and let me do some fights. Over here, as you can see in the top right corner, once you fill this gauge, you can use this special power that is here with us this season in Wormwalks and Beyond the Wall Expedition. So when you turn it on, it automatically breaks the enemy's resistance gauge down, and if the enemy is weak, it instantly like defeats the enemy. If not, at least it breaks the resistance gauge, and then you will have like an easy time beating the enemy. So let me turn it on. Yeah, those enemies were pretty bad, but this one is good. I hope I can like use it against him, but we will see. Okay, this one is bugged. Not anymore. Yeah, I know optimization is sucking a little bit, but it's fine. So he is done. It's not that hard honestly with this build, of course, but definitely as we are nearing to the end of the season, we are definitely gonna make some better builds as well. But this is like mid-season build, so definitely feel free to use it, of course. At least if you can make it similar to this one, so yeah. Now let me show you how I'm doing this in Beyond the Wall expeditions. And of course I forgot to mention but I mean, you definitely need Ignite weapon for Beyond the Wall expeditions. So yeah. Now many players had a hard time like playing Beyond the Wall expeditions for too long. But I do have to say, like, you do have to pick the best map to finish it as fast as possible. And let's see over here. I will have to play one stage. Definitely always go with whites, they are easy to beat. 2 stages, then I can skip this one. Then again whites, 3 stages, then I can skip this one. Then I can go over here. Wait, what is that? 4 stages. 4th stage, again whites. Then I can skip this one, and then this is the 5th stage. Wildling in the end, but it's not that hard to beat honestly. And then I skip this one, and then I'm going at this elk, like 6th mission. And this map is like not the best, but is pretty good. And I'm gonna play because I'm having like 1 animals and 2, 3 whites and 1 wildlings. So this one is decent map, and you can have like decent time with this map. Always try to find like the shortest way basically, and to skip as much as possible, like those stages, to skip them as much as possible. And yeah, let's go. First mission, of course, doing this. Actually you don't have to fight when doing this basically. You simply can walk and let them attack you, of course, but also see every time once you are near those enemies to try to sprint. Okay. If it hits you, then definitely, yeah, you will have to fight. However, see if you can like simply pass through. Okay. Last season was much easier, honestly, but however, this season is working as well. So this mission took me 2 minutes, which is not that optimal, of course. It wasn't that hard actually, so let's go. In the end we do have to fight the beast. So I'm gonna go... Yeah, we will have to fight the wildlings as well, so I'm gonna go with this one in the beginning. Now let's go against whites because they are easier than other enemies. And over here is the battleground where we will have to fight a lot of whites, so it's fine. You can also use this special power to simply put all of them to sleep. Yeah, I mean, it's going pretty easy with my build. Of course, not all of us have the same build, like no one has the same build, but however, at least try to make like similar to this. But definitely this new artifact is gonna make your job much easier, of course. So without new artifact it's really hard to play. And yeah, done. Okay, this one took like minute and 15 seconds. Now I'm gonna relocate because nothing is increasing my attack power. And over here I do have some critical strike rate and damage increase, so I'm gonna pick this one, of course. Let me skip the stage. And let me take some dragon glass. Now over here what I want to do is, like, this is literally luck. I hope I get like the snowstorm one. But however, Yeah, it's not the one. But at least those are whites and we are gonna have some easy time with them. Hello. You can simply go forward and you don't have to follow that guy, of course. Now let's continue further and let's wait for those enemies to wake up. Now let's simply put them to sleep again and yeah. Don't forget to use that special power because it's really useful. I hate those like crawling zombies. I mean whites. They are pretty painful, honestly, when they get to you. Okay, over here this one is increasing my attack power, this one as well, and it recovers 4 HP when enemy is dead. This one increases for 20%, recovers 5. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this one. I simply want to go the shortest way possible over here to this white. Oh, it's locked. Why? Oh, I forgot about this tree. I'm gonna increase my critical strike rate, of course, and my power a bit. And then let's go against this one. We are currently 4 minutes in, which is not that optimal, I mean, but however, it's something at least. It's much better definitely to play like 7 minutes than like 10 minutes. Now let's see if we can like gather a lot of enemies together and simply use this special power. Yeah, I don't have 5 of them over here, so let's use it. Okay, they didn't die. However, they will. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to use some active skills as well, because it's not going that well. Okay. Done. Yeah, the first mission took a bit longer, but it's fine. So I'm gonna go with this one since it has like 10% chance to reduce the active skill cooldown by 50%. And I'm currently recovering my HP with abundant vitality, which is fine. Now let's skip this stage. Let's take some dragon glass so we can increase like some more levels of our additional beyond wall skills. And then let's fight those wildlings. Yeah, it's not gonna be that hard actually against them. I'm currently 5 minutes in. Yeah, let's see. Let's use this. Boom. Yeah. And then we have one more wave. Those are a bit stronger. Always see to finish those archers first because they are literally pain into something. And now our last fight is against that elk, and we are like almost 7 minutes in. And let me increase my attack active skill a bit as well. And now let's increase our powers. Let's see what can we increase and what is useful. Definitely this is not useful anymore. Let me increase this active skill damage maybe, or yeah, this one is better. So yeah, definitely. And then let's go with this and then with this. We have some coins left. Let's buy this, and this. Okay. Now let's go against this elk. Oh, they changed the map for elk. I didn't fight elk actually. Yeah, I'm literally lagging. I'm lagging way too much. And our friend is dazed. Let's use this once again. And let's use this. Come on, finish him before he wakes up. And boom. Okay, fine. It wasn't that hard, but he almost like defeated me because of optimization in the beginning. But yeah, that's it. So we made it in like 8 minutes. Yeah, not the best, but however, like decent time. So definitely say to pick the maps with the least stages, least playable stages, and that's how you are gonna have a easy time, of course. So my friends, that will be it for this build. I will definitely update this build as the time goes and as the season nears to the end. I will also make builds for night and cell swords as well. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, have fun and goodbye and stay healthy. Bye.